What is up, you legends? My name is BlindedMarksman, and today I'm bringing you another Destiny gameplay. Today's topic, I want to talk about playing as a solo player. 100%, well, I won't say 100% of the time, but a good majority of my time, maybe like 98, 99% of the time, I do play Destiny solo. And not only Destiny, also Call of Duty and Halo and whatever case, whatever game may be. For the most part, I'm playing by myself. And playing solo, you're gonna kind of have to have a different mindset uh, compared to when you're playing for teammates. Clearly, when you're playing with teammates, you always have an advantage because there's always going to be call-outs, and you're always going to have a good general idea of where everyone's at. And, having the support of your teammates, whether it's team shooting or just basic call-outs, is really, really beneficial into the outcome of winning a PvP game type. But when you're playing solo, your mindset has to be a little bit different. You can either be, two types of players. One player, he could be the one who kill whores and just runs around the map, just aimlessly and try to pick up as much kills as possible. Not really thinking of how you're, really hurting the team in a certain way if you're just running aimlessly back and forth between maps. Because depending on what game type you're playing, clearly if you're playing Clash, then that's the whole point of the game. It's just trying to kill as many people as possible. But in Rift and Control, there's a flow to the game, and you want to have map control no matter what. And playing solo, it's kind of hard to have map control just because no one's really communicating with one another. You don't want to be running around aimlessly, kill whoring. If you're playing an objective game type, you really want to do is just hold on to power points. You want to, kind of control, the high traffic areas in order to better benefit your engagements. So for me, playing solo is something that I kind of had just pick up over time. Back in the days, during Gears of War and stuff like that, I did play for team, and it obviously made it a lot more easier for me. But now, as I transition into playing solo, I just had to have the mindset of not always trying to be the hero, I guess, not trying to do everything I possibly can to win, but I try to do everything I possibly can to help the team win. And it probably kind of sounds kind of like cliche-ish in a way, but it's 100% true. Like, you don't want to be if you're playing control, if you're having control of 2 points, you don't want to be in their spawn point trying to kill whore, when the likelihood is that you're going to, flip the spawns and have them spawn behind your teammate, and then have your teammates get killed and then lose control of either B or, a good, choke point of the map. Now, the gameplay you're watching in the background I believe is Rift, and I am using the Tornella SR4, I think it's called. It was the Tornella Scout Rifle. It's an Amalon Scout Rifle. The only way you could get it is through order packages from Banshee on Arms Day, or if you level up your gunsmith rank, you might be lucky and get it from a drop. The gameplay is Rift, and we're playing in Cathedral of Dusk, or whatever it's called. Honestly, it's my least favorite map in Destiny. I just don't like it. It's too long. It's too big. I feel like once you die, especially if you're playing an objective game, once you die, you just have to run so far to get where you need to get where you need to be at. So for most maps, I really have a route that I like to take. With this particular map, I like to be on the outside. So depending which side I spawn at, either A side or C side, I might have to go left or right. Ideally, I always want to be on the outside where the spark spawns at. Occasionally, I might run up the middle, but once I reach that mid section, again, I'll try to hook a left or a right, depending which way I'm facing, and get to the outside of the map. So my mindset here is to be a pest, basically, and trying to kind of just float between the spark location and the spawn points. With Rift, you could kind of get away with just hanging out in their spawn a little longer than normal, because the spawns won't flip. They're not going to end up spawning behind you if I'm in their spawn location. What's going to happen is you're going to get a split spawn. And split spawn is basically when the opposing team ends up spawning like in the middle of the map somewhere. Usually they have like different locations where they could spawn at, but usually that's that's what happens. You'll have the opposing team spawning a little further away from their home base. When I'm playing, like I said, my mentality is to kind of just float between the spark spawns and try to float between their spawn area. I try to be as much of a pest as possible. Definitely, if it calls for it for me to pick up the spark, I'll definitely try to pick it up. I believe I pick it up here, or sometime in the next minute or so. You don't want to do everything at once. You kind of just want to be that anchor, and that's the best way I could describe it. Be an anchor, be a bridge to your teammates. You kind of want to just set the pace for your team to complete whatever the objective is. So for here is, grabbing a spark and scoring as much as possible, or getting it close to score as much as possible. And again, that's the best advice I could give someone who's a solo player, is not try to do everything in your powers to win, because the chances are you won't be able to. You won't be able to, and you're gonna get frustrated and you're gonna get flustered, and the chances are is that you're gonna lose your focus, and you'll probably start playing at a worse pace. And the most likelihood is that you'll end up losing your gunfights, and then you'll just get pissed off and be like, oh, that's bullshit. This guy should have died. And I feel guilty to that too. Sometimes I'm trying my hardest to win, and some bullshit thing happens, and I start getting pissed off and and raging. But when heavy spawns, obviously that's a priority, and you really gotta get a feel of what's happening with your team. This particular game, I had a pretty good idea of what my teammates could contribute to the team, and they're for the most part, most of them were fighting for the spark. So I took it besides myself to not have that extra weight on my shoulders of like, I need to do this, I need to do that. I could just keep being the bridge for my team, keep killing and pushing the other team back, and then going back to what I was talking about with the heavy, you kind of want to get a feel for it. A lot of times, especially with Rift, both teams have a habit of kind of just neglecting the spark when heavy spawns in. And depending what the score is, if you grab that spark and the two teams are kind of just at different ends trying to pick up heavy, that's an easy score for you. There's numerous games I had where the game is either close or we're trailing or whatever the case may be, heavy spawns in, and I'm confident enough that my teammates will at the very least grab one heavy box, and the other team will grab the other one, and I have a free lane to grab the spark and score. Another thing, knowing when to back up during gunfights. A lot of times you'll run into situations where you're getting pecked a couple of times, you're missing your shots, and you always have that tendency of have that psyche of, oh, you know what, I'm gonna outshoot this guy, I'm gonna continue the gunfight. And the chances are you're gonna lose that gunfight. If that person has full shield and he or she already knocked out your shield, there's no point to continue that gunfight, and there's no harm in running away. People might call you a coward or whatever the case may be, but the fact of the matter is you're going to back up to get your health back, and then you want to take the engagement again. And the chances are, if you do that, the person you're fighting is going to probably get too overly aggressive and push up, and you'll be able to catch them with their pants down. Basically, you'll catch them mid sprint, and you'll have your health back, and you'll probably win the gunfight on that way. Other than that, I really don't think there's much else to say. I can make a video for 3v3 skirmish or even control. Control is basically the same thing as Rift. You kind of just want to control the B zone and float back and forth between B and the opposing team's flag side. But skirmish is a different animal. I believe that's that skirmish is basically the two teammates you have, and communication is key on that one. I'll probably do a video on that. I actually have a really good close gameplay when it came down to the last kill in skirmish, so I'll probably use that video to talk about strategies and in the 3v3 game type. But I think I'm gonna end it there. Hope you liked it. Leave a thumbs up if you feel like this video is worth one. Comment, let me know what you guys think about playing solo. Is there anything that I missed, something you guys might do differently? And subscribe if you haven't already, so you won't miss any more of my content. But till next time, guys, cheers.